Hi everyone, so I wanted to give a quick update on the work I've been working on for Modos Flow. In the background is just community work, and I was working together with Hans, and he had this idea of making kind of a 2-bit fast mode. So it will kind of look like the typing mode but in 60 Hertz, so really fast. And as you can see here, this is already running the newest version that I made, and you can see that there's not that much ghosting. It's looking really well, but you can see that the text is a lot sharper than if you just do a 1-bit browsing. So the main difference basically is here we're not just using black and white, but we're also using 2 gray levels in the middle. So we're going to have light gray and dark gray, and with those 4 levels of gray, or black, white, gray, gray, we can produce much finer gradients. So this is based off a lot of the work that Hans was doing. All these are from him, just credits out to him. And at this test here, you can see how like a moving ball, for example, is moving over different areas, how much gray this is producing. You can see, of course, if I scroll, it produces more ghosting. But in general here in the white ones, you can see that it's already looking really well, almost no ghosting. The gray ones still have some problems, but this is kind of tuning at the end, which I've been doing for the last 2-3 days. But in general, it's looking pretty well. You can see some kind of white shadow of this black ball. That's just a small trick I did because I kind of overshoot the black ones to the light grays and just overshoot them into the white side, because then I can always come from the same side and have less ghosting basically. Yeah, so this is kind of a small animation test. Here I can show you how all the transitions are going from the 4 different levels towards the 4 other ones. And as you can see, we have some minimal ghosting, but it's not that much of a problem. You can also see when I'm like just scrolling around here. So this is Wikipedia, and the text is pretty sharp. Here I can open an image and it looks really good. And I think it's just, I'm very surprised that this is possible. I thought it would not be possible, but with the hardware and everything that we have now, there's so much cool things we can do. So like just normal newspaper website, you can kind of see everything. And I mean, it's not some like here you can see some of the colors gonna have some problems, but I think this can all be fixed later on. What I also wanted to show you was kind of the lookup table designer that he made. So basically here you can kind of enter the values, how much frames it's going to take to get from dark gray to black, for example, or to white. So here it says, okay, you need 9 frames to come all the way from black to white. And you can kind of enter values here everywhere, and it will solve kind of a curve for you. And that's what's running in the background, even though mine is a little bit more different now, because I have the same software running on OED. But to make it run on Flow, it was a little bit more of work. Yeah. So yeah, you can see it's working pretty well, and you could even watch some videos on this, even though you always want to see it. It's not made for it, but you can do it. So here's Wenting showing off the very first glider. Yeah, and you can see that it's not looking that great. So for video, I wouldn't recommend it. I would do something else. Okay, so now I wanted to show a little bit what's going on in the background. So if I go in my settings menu now, and I go here to this tuning tab that I made, you can see here that I have like several different values. So here, this is dark gray and light gray. I can change the position. So we're working with a position from 0 to 32. Actually, you only have 16, but this gives you a little bit of finer grain. So 2 positions is basically one of the 16 levels. Then we have this kind of speed in the middle of the curve. So this is at 16 right now. So this actually means it's half by 2. So what it means is going to move 8 positions per frame in the middle of the curve. I don't know if that makes sense to explain it this way, but yeah. And at the edge where it goes towards the black or the white, it's doing 2. So this is 1 position per frame. So if you're coming to the edge, like if you want to get a real white, it's going to take like 4 or 5 frames to get to the end of the position curve, which is going to make what's making it look good. I also implemented something that's called dithering. Kind of, I can just change the value of the dithering here from 6 all the way to 8. So this is basically only changing the one number. One thing is doing in the biometrics is just doing -6s, 0s, and 6s at this stage. And if I change this to 3, it's just going to use 3s and -3s. I need this for something else I'm going to show you later, because I also thought, okay, well, if I can do 2-bit dithering, I can also do 4-bit, so making 16 levels. You can see this here. And if I want to have that, I need this to be at 3, because if I put it at 6, it's kind of overshooting. You can see there's too many grays because it's not working together. But if I put it to 3, you can see this here now, I actually get an even finer grainy structure on the dithering. This is, you can see more ghosting, of course, because it's not optimized that well yet. But on images or something, you will see a big difference with this, and it has like even finer grain kind of structure, yeah. So this is kind of doing all 16 levels of gray in a very fast mode, so in 60 Hertz. And yeah, you can see here, this looks pretty good. I think it has some potential, but this needs a lot of fine tuning. But it does change how it looks in the end. So if I go back to browsing now, you can see that this has less detail, I would say. Yeah, it's losing a little bit of the detail in the images. So here it was visible, I think, in this moving picture. Yeah, so you lose some detail, but at the cost of having 16 values to tune. And with the browsing mode, I only have 4 values to tune. So this was easier for the beginning. Then I have this VTL, which is kind of the cool thing about this panel that E-Ink produced. It has 3 values to drive the pixels, so it can drive it at 6 volt, it can drive it at 12 volt, and it can drive it at 24 volts. So you get a very fine control over what's happening with the pixels. So if I change this now, it would use the 6 volt for the gentle movements. I did this for the gentle movements. I put the 12 volt to 1. So for kind of only small position changes, it's going to use the 12 volts instead of the 24. Because the 24, they are very aggressive. So if you just put one frame at 60 Hertz, driving it at 24 volts, it will go from black almost all the way to light gray. So this might be even too fast. So I implemented this feature to have a finer control. Yeah. So when we go back to the tuning tab, I can show you what else we have inside. This is something I call creep. So if we are in close to a target position where we want to land, like 6 positions away from it, or actually this is half, so 3 positions away, is going to use this voltage to get there. Otherwise, it's going to use the 24 volts. Yeah. This is something else we've tried out. I'm not sure if it's going to damage the panel, so I'm not using it too much, but it's called doping, or we call it doping. And I can basically set this to 2, for example, and just to show you what it's doing. And what this is doing, it's kind of driving, now it's every 5 seconds, it's going to drive 2 frames in one direction. So like if I put it at one direction, it's very good to remove ghosting. So if I produce some ghosting here, you can see in this area now, when after the 5 seconds, it's going to flash and it's going to remove the ghosting. But this is not DC balanced, so I'm not sure if this is going to kill the panel on the long run. So I'm quite, I don't really want to use it that much yet. But I also thought about things to maybe use, like, for example, BBWW. So this will be black, black, white, white, or black, white, black, white. But you can see if I put it to 0, for example, put this to 4, and do it at the full volts, you can see it's almost a full refresh. So if I put it to 2, this is going to drive black, white, black, white. You can still see it because the panel is just so sensitive. Even only driving 1 frame with 24 volts, it's very, very visible. And the problem I had, even if I put it to 12 volts, it's still going to be quite visible. Yeah, you can see it. And at 6 volts, it's still annoying for the eye. So I don't think this is a great thing to remove the ghosting, only if we would like do it only in one direction. We've done it on another panel for a long time, and it seems to work. Like if I would, for example, do this 2 frames, or actually 1 frame is enough, at 6 volts, every 5 seconds in one direction. So this is the 2. We kind of can do this, and it seems to work to remove ghosting, but I have to test it in the long run if it produces some problems. Usually after some time it balances out, but maybe especially in the top areas where not so much is moving, it might not be a good idea. So this needs more testing. I just want to show it that it's possible, and maybe somebody can come up with an even better idea. So here I also implemented something that I called hold. So at the extremes, the black and whites, I hold the position for 4 frames just to get a deeper black and a deeper white, because I saw that it's not really working. And this was like my last idea. It's kind of something I call kick. So the gray, they're overshooting from the black, like it's written here, and they go 5 positions further. They go into the light gray, and from there they go back. So this way, I'm always coming from the same side. I'm always coming from white or from black, because it's very, very tough to tune it in a perfect way. I still think it would be better if somebody implements it with less features, less tabs, but I just did this for like a couple days, and it took me a couple days to get there. But I think the result, as you can see, it's pretty amazing how fast it is, how clear the text looks. And I mean, I don't know how well it's looking on the camera, but if I look at it here in the reality, it's really, really great result. So you can see a little bit of ghosting here, but it's not much. And yeah, this is full front light. I mean, here inside I have very bad lighting. I'm inside office, so you will not see how it looks. Yeah. And apart from that, I think there's many cool things we can still try out together to do this. And I think the future is bright for e-ink. Just in comparison, so you can see, I wanted to show, so this is the watching mode from Wenting, the original. And this is also looking pretty good. But as you can see up here in these areas, it produces more grain, of course, in these gray areas. So visibly to the eye, I have the feeling that those 2-bit modes are a little bit more pleasing. But for video, for example, of course, his mode is far superior, and it's just looking really great. So it's always a question of what you want to do at the moment. But for some specific situations, I think this is just a great mode to read text and work every day on the computer. Yeah, so that was just something I wanted to share, and we keep working on it, and I think I'm very excited when I'm gonna have 700, 800 developers trying their best at this. And I think with this hardware that we have now, with the buttons and with all the fine control and the potential inside, there's still much that can be done. So thanks for watching, and I hope you're gonna back the campaign, and we're gonna have some fun together developing on this.